Hi YouTube, it's EmmaBlueEyes10 here with a thoughts video, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now this video was actually inspired by the fact I had a look through the Lord of the Taxion Galaxy booster pack, which is after Cosmo Blazer, and of course everybody's getting a bit hyped up about the Harpy and Wind support cards that are coming out in that set. And this is kind of, as I said, inspired me to do a video about my thoughts on older deck themes and newer support that's coming out for them now and everything, and sort of in between. You might also hear some comments from ChrisAnimeGuy. My boyfriend is just sitting over there watching TV at the moment, so he might put in a few opinions in that as well. So here we go. Okay, as you know, with every single set that's coming out in Yu-Gi-Oh at this moment, there's pretty much a new deck archetype coming out with every booster. But as well as that, there's also maybe one or two booster sets in between that can give support, a lot of support to older deck archetypes that are coming out as well. For example, like back in the day, 10 years ago, so everything was just like Blue Eyes, Summon Skull, Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon, my beat stick beats your beat stick. With the introduction of the Invasion of Chaos booster pack, everything went from beat stick to my effects beat your effects. And then when the Dark Arm Dragon came out in Phantom of Darkness and the Light Sworns with the and the Light Sworns in the Light of Destruction booster pack, it then became sort of like my deck speed beats your deck speed and my effects really beat your effects. And now the Yu-Gi-Oh game is pretty much like a mixture of all of it, a mixture of my spell card and trap card can beat yours and is the key to winning the game, or this effect's a key to winning the game, or this beat stick of this deck archetype is key to winning the game. And of course a lot of decks have themes in that to them. There's some that are well supported more so than others. For example, I think one of the classic, obviously the classic boss monsters, as you know, have got really good support. They've got Blue Eyes White Dragons, we've got the Red Eyes Dragons, we've got Dark Magician. There's also all the meta decks that have really good support, Light Sworns, Black Wings, the Madolchis, the Atlanteans or the Mermals, Wind-Ups, Insectors, you know, all that kind of stuff basically. They all get pretty much released as they're in their in a booster set. You build the deck from the booster stick there, and then most of the sets afterwards generally give a few more support cards. There's always going to be one card or two cards in the newer sets that will obviously give the deck an extra boost to get it to tier 1. For example, a lot of people are getting hyped up that Harpy cards that are coming out are going to boost the Harpy Lady deck to tier 1. Now that's a very, very old deck archetype, but even so, just from my personal opinion, I think the Harpy deck will become a bit more competitive than it is now, but probably not tier 1, just because it's the Harpy deck itself in general is just quite situational. It's focused on obviously the wind monsters, and for most of the cards you see with Harpies is just destroying spells and trap cards and, you know, multiplying your Harpies and everything. But at the same time, it's very interesting that they've chosen the Harpy Ladies as a support boost for this set, to say the least, because they've always been a cool card. They were the signature card of my Valentine, but you know, they didn't really get much support even in Rise of Destiny booster pack and everything. I'm actually surprised I can actually remember all the booster packs these have come out in so far. They got a little bit of support with Effect Harpy Ladies and stuff like that, and then of course they got their own starter deck with the Storm, Lord of the Storm, I think it was, or something like that.
I don't think that was their starter deck, that was just a wind deck.
It was just a wind deck, but it had a lot of Harpy cards in there that you didn't get in the thing.
Harpy cards just because they're average wind monsters.
Yeah.
So it's not a Harpy deck.
Yeah, but a lot of people tend to class it as a Harpy deck.
It's not really. You can't classify it as a Harpy deck because it doesn't come with things like the Harpy's Feather Duster and stuff like that. Yes, I know that's banned, but it would be
nice to see that come back, I have to admit. I like the Harpy Feather Duster.
As far as I recall, it didn't have things like Elegant Egotist, Harpy's Pet Dragon, and stuff
Harpy's
like
Pet Dragon's still a pain in the neck to get, as far as I'm aware. It was first released in what, Forbidden Memories? As a promo for Forbidden Memories?
Not Forbidden Memories. It was first released, I believe, it was either a McDonald's promo, or
yeah,
it was a for one of the PC
games.
PC games, I think, but definitely not Forbidden Memories.
I think it was Forbidden Memories because
Forbidden
I saw
Memories,
the.
I believe, was similar to
Dark Duel Stories. Yeah, because I know it got a repack.
I can't really remember.
I know it.
Bloody hell, this is a long time.
I know it definitely got a reprint in the Retro Pack 2, but
yes,
I bought loads of Retro Pack 2s. You know this because you've seen me buy them, and I never got a Harpy's Pet Dragon.
No.
It was an absolute nightmare. Anyway, getting a bit.
Guess what? They'll release it as a gold promo. You watch. There you go. I bet you. It'll be a fucking gold secret rare or something.
Will you watch your language, please?
Sorry,
Excuse the French in the video if there is any French. But anyway, yeah, it's very interesting, and yet, of course, for the Dark Magician Red Eyes series, there's been general support, and same with Blue Eyes. There's been general dragon support, but no real specific support cards for the other old archetypes. Even for the Light Swans. Now, interestingly enough, there's another set after the Tachyon Galaxy. Apparently it's called, hang on if I can go on the OCG site and find it. It's called Light of Something, and it's basically everybody's getting hyped up about that, thinking, oh, is there going to be a couple of cards in there that is going to boost up the Light Swans again, to make them tier 1, because that's just how things go. When you get light or darkness in their name, there tends to be 1 or 2 cards in there that boost those kind of decks to tier 1 again. Or tier 0 in some cases. Hang on everybody, I'm just going to find it.
There's way too much emphasis on light and dark monsters now.
I think it's because they're some of the best cards in the set.
Yes, true, but...
in general. There it is, the Judgment of the Light. Features 80 cards, 5 ultras, there's a new XYZ monster, obviously, but Judgment of the Light is the new next set after the Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, so it's going to be interesting to see what's in there, but a lot of people are speculating there's going to be cards that are going to boost at least the Light Swarms, and possibly the Photons to maybe a better tier at least, so it's very interesting to say the least. But even so, Light Swarms are not really that old. I mean, they're not as old as the classic boss monsters, as I would like to call them. They're only a few years old, but even so, they're still a pretty dangerous deck archetype. They're not played as much now, obviously, because people consider them too slow, but at the same time, there's always support for them. There's always going to be at least a few cards for them. But at the same time, it's like, oops, sorry about that, everybody. At the same time, it's like, why not release more specific cards for the Blue Eyes, or for the Dark Magician, or for the Red Eyes, or just for any really old archetypes? For example, Batterymen. I know my boyfriend plays a Batteryman deck, and that has hardly seen any support in the past couple of packs as far as I'm aware. There's been like some general Thunder support cards, but nothing actually specifically for the theme of the deck.
As far as I can remember, I think we got one new Batteryman monster a couple of sets ago, but
that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Just general stuff, really.
Yeah, because it seems to be more general stuff's being released instead of specific stuff. For example,
I mean, you can use like the Watt monsters with the Batterymen because they're Thunder element, but
yeah,
it's not really.
If you want to keep the theme whole, you'd rather see support for that theme than mixed decks.
Deck, basically.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, yeah, I would love a Batteryman structure deck, but that's never going to happen.
Well, there's a 6 sand deck. What do you think might happen?
Yeah, but 6 sands are more profitable.
That's true, unfortunately.
Don't forget,
this game is very money orientated. Yes, it is, unfortunately.
Which is probably why we are never going to see support for older cards like that, because they're not profitable.
Aye, because they're only played, as a lot of people would say, they're only played by kitchen top duelists or casual fun duelists. But at the same time, you could make profit technically from the older themed card, because obviously it's just in general, the older something gets and the more rare it becomes, the more profit it makes. For example, a starter deck Blue Eyes White Dragon, from the very first Blue Eyes White Dragon starter deck, Kaiba version, I've seen go for nearly £200 now, and I've actually got 3 of those, whereas the newest Blue Eyes White Dragon is still, a common version is still about £5 to £6, £7 maybe tops. So it's not as much profit obviously as the old stuff, but you can still make, if they make some cards for the older themes that are that could boost them into much more competitive play, then obviously you could make a lot more profit out of it. That's what I think, but obviously I don't think the business world really actually works that way, and unfortunately.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, I needed a drink there. But as I said, maybe specific like cards like from the manga or the anime that we love to come out and see to help out these decks to make them better. You know, for example, like that's actually gone out of my head. I'm trying to think of a manga or an anime card specifically for the Blue Eyes or for Dark Magician or Red Eyes that we did see.
For Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
What about
Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon? I'll just use that as an example. I know that will never ever come out, but I would love to see a version of Blue Eyes Tyrant.
Well, I suppose if they were to bring that out as an actual card, it'll be similar to how they brought out Rainbow Dark Dragon. It'll just be its own monster.
Yeah.
Whereas in the anime, it required you having the the Fang of Critias.
Fang of Critias and a Blue Eyes and a Tyrant Dragon or something.
Blue Eyes and the trap card Tyrant Wing.
Aye. Which will never happen because obviously it's never.
No, we're never going to get.
It would be its own monster. That's what I think it'd be.
The legendary dragon, unfortunately.
Actually, there's a card for Red Eyes I saw that we see Joey have in his hand, but he never actually used. I think it was a Paladin of Dark Dragon.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a ritual for like similar to Paladin of White Dragon. I mean, obviously that would be a good. That could possibly be a good support card for the Red Eyes, but we've already got Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon and Red Eyes Black Chick, so unfortunately that card would probably never ever come out.
Not really, but then I think for people who want more Red Eyes support, they'll ask more for Lord of Red rather than that one.
Lord of Red. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to remember what that one is. I know that name, but I just cannot remember its effect.
That was a Red Eyes one that he used during the Orichalcos arc.
Was that not versed against Dinosaur Ryuki?
No.
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 Not Dinosaur Ryuki. What's his Japanese? That's his Japanese name, isn't it? Or Rex Raptor, as you guys know in the anime.
Dinosaur Ryuki is his Japanese name.
That's his Japanese name.
But no, it was used against
Mai?
No, though. His English name is Alistair.
Alistair?
Is it the one who was using the armor cards?
Oh, I can't remember his
Japanese name.
I can't. Oh, it must have been one of those. See, things like that would be really cool to see, but obviously, even so, they would probably be made in such a specific way that a lot of people wouldn't even bother getting them nowadays. For example, like the White Stone of Legend is the only Blue Eyes White Dragon card of recent years to actually be of any use to a Blue Eyes White Dragon duelist, because it adds Blue Eyes to your hand. Whereas if you wanted to see other cards that helped support Blue Eyes, you know, they probably would never unfortunately get made, but it would be nice to see them get made, to be honest, because obviously, as I said, they could take an anime or manga card or just a fresh new idea, put it into effect, and you could never know, it could be that one card that actually boosts a Blue Eyes deck back into tier 1, or even a Red Eyes deck, or even a Dark Magician deck. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's one Dark Magician card that would love to come out, and I know
Dark Renewal.
ChrisAnimeGuy and Dark Magician 84 would love to see this, and that's Dark Renewal. Because obviously it's a Dark Magician card, it supports the Dark Magician very well, but it's probably never going to come out. I mean, it might come out in Japan, or it's out in Japan now. Maybe
it's not an actual card.
Oh, there you go. Not an actual card. It would be wonderful to see, because obviously
you just get it in the games.
It's more, because how annoying would that be as a trap card? You know, you play that trap card, you take your opponent's monster and your own, and you get your Dark Magician back.
Did you summon JD?
Bye JD. Or an XYZ monster, you know, exactly. You try to activate it, chain Dark Renewal.
As long as you have a monster on your field,
aye,
that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean,
one monster on your field, one
monster on the other side.
Boom.
Yeah, that would be a dangerous little trap card. But at the same time, that probably is another reason why
not really,
because not only could it,
not everybody uses Dark Magicians. So.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in general that could be another reason why some of these old theme cards are not going to get some support cards you see in the anime, and that's because their effects could be too devastating.
Really, Emma,
well, not too devastating, like too overpowered, I suppose.
Not really. If we're getting cards which are very similar to that for all these new deck types, and sometimes they're even worse, I hardly doubt that's the reason why we don't get things like Dark Renewal.
Yeah.
The reason we don't get things like Dark Renewal is because they know that fans want it, but they're not going to do it because they want to build up the anticipation, and then they'll just do it.
Yeah. It's like the Arcana Dark Magician version, that's sought after in Japan, but it's not seen a release yet over here because obviously there's not, even though there are Dark Magician players and everything, there's probably not enough support to actually merit its profitability over here.
I wouldn't think it's...
Profitability? Is that even a word?
Profitability.
Profitability, or whatever it's called, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's just because it's a Japanese exclusive.
Yeah.
They
Which
want
is kind
to
of
keep
sad.
some things exclusive to Japan.
Yeah.
That's
So,
just how it is.
Aye. So all in all, it's nice to see that there's some older card supports getting some support. I mean, obviously the Harpies have not been touched for a very long time. In a way, this gives hope to some duelists like myself that they could potentially start moving on to the other classic boss monsters of older eras that we haven't seen for a long time. I mean, they could possibly bring out a new Red Eyes monster, a new Dark Magician monster, a new Blue Eyes monster. We don't know yet. This gives some hope, but at the same time...
Konami, I want the Karibo siblings, damn it!
That would be cool, actually, a Karibo siblings card, oh my goodness.
You know, Karibo siblings, Kari Babylon...
And Kari Bandith.
How about all the... I know they brought out a Effect Swordman of Landstar, but what about all the other Landstar monsters?
I know, oh my goodness. So it said, in a way, the fact that the Harpy Ladies have just gotten a nice little upgrade, as I said, it gives some hope to some duelists that they could potentially do this with other older boss monsters, or even with newer boss monsters that haven't been touched for a few packs, like the Lightsworns and Blackwings and everything. But again, at the same time, you have to be wary because obviously a lot of people will get hyped up and everything and think that the deck could potentially do very well, but if it turns out it doesn't, then obviously it's money out of everybody's pocket and out of Konami's pocket, and it's just another deck collector's type. Because if it proves to be not as popular as they hope, then obviously they're not going to do any more support for any other boss monsters until they think of something really devastating for them to use, basically. I mean, if they made a Blue Eyes card that really pushed Blue Eyes up into tier 2 and that, obviously a lot of people would go for it because Blue Eyes is a classic monster and it's a powerful beat stick in its own right and everything. Same with the Red Eyes cards. I mean, obviously the Red Eyes were hit pretty badly with Darkness Metal at least being kicked down to 1, but if they get a potential nasty boost from some Dark Dragon cards that are released later, then that's how it goes. But in general, even though specifically themed cards are difficult to get and are difficult to, or don't come out as often, there's a lot of just general support cards that make up for it to an extent. But I think a lot of fans, and a lot of you guys would agree with me, you would like to see more specifically themed cards come out for older deck archetypes, because I definitely would. I mean, that's just my opinion, and I'm pretty sure ChrisAnimeGuy agrees with me as well. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts and opinions on this are, and you know, just post down in the comments below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was just a wee collaboration video between me and my boyfriend. I'm actually going to do a quick advice video next after this, so I hope you guys find it useful. Until then, hope you enjoyed the video, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!